All right. And I am live with Anthony, the one, the only, my good old friend, Anthony from Ezoic. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Pete?
I'm fantastic. First of all, thank you for hopping on this call. For everybody watching this is going to be the second part of my Humix series. I'm not going to do the super beginner basic questions in this video, so I'll just point people to the first video, if you haven't watched it already, where you can learn, like, what is Humix? What is a video? What are ads? Those sorts of questions. Instead, I actually have a few, not more advanced questions, but maybe a little bit more specific, odd questions, some technical questions, some SEO questions about Humix and how it relates to my website. I was having these questions while going through the setup process, so I thought it'd be great to have Anthony on, who knows what he's doing, and ask these questions. So, Anthony, I'm not going to waste any time here. I want to start with the setup questions. And I have two, maybe it'll turn into 2.5. Let's start with this. I already have a website that shows Ezoic ads. Been on Ezoic for a while now. And included in those ads are video ads. There's already video ads on my site. I look at my site, I see the little video thing pop up. Do I still need to embed Humix videos on my site?
Great question. Yes. And let me just preface with this. I didn't create Humix myself, but I talked with everyone who did, basically, for this, and there's a lot to say. And also, everyone watching this, Pete's going to have all these notes around this video somewhere. So if you want the text-based version, kind of like go over things, you can see that. And one last preface. We soft launched Humix earlier this year at the time of the recording, kind of like we're working out all the bugs, and we kind of like officially started promoting it a few months ago. And I think with everything, it's just so fair to say it might have been a rocky launch, that things are going to change. And all these questions, which we're going to go, I just love them because I think they're totally valid. And this is the kind of stuff we want to hear. And even our Humix team was getting frustrated because we need more feedback from publishers. We need more insight, like what isn't working. So hopefully this video and more like it can kind of address that. So you talked about, you already have Ezoic ads on your site, including video ads. Do you need to embed Humix videos on your site? And I'll kind of read you some of the notes that our Humix team sent me and try and package into more, less crazy tech jargon terms. So our Humix team says, yes, they definitely recommend it. And there's a million sites and metrics and statistics that let people know that videos tend to keep people on pages longer. I was looking at, I was like, there's like 20 links here. People just know videos keep people more engaged on sites. So embedding Humix videos also helps with that. On top of it, from like a monetary perspective here, in-stream video ads, Humix ads, essentially videos that you create as a publisher, and advertisements, like video ads, come up in that video content, that tends to pay better than outstream video ads, just random video ads with no content around them. So it helps from both a user perspective of keeping people on the site more, and a monetary perspective, leads to more income from in-stream video ads than outstream. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. And it was not until this very second that I actually made the distinction on those two types of video ads. One is actually content. It could be what to feed your cats or something like that, and have advertisements in it.
Right.
While as some videos are like, this is an ad video for Toyota or
there's
whatever.
No content before or after or anything. It's just the ad.
That's very helpful.
Yeah.
Now, the next question is a little bit hard to explain. So allow me to just break out what happened for me. So I uploaded some videos, about 10, to Humix, and I was not sharing the display network videos, other people's videos on my site. I did not have that enabled yet. So I put these videos of mine on Humix, and I shared those to the display network where other people could put them on their site, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And my question was, do those videos that I uploaded, my own content, to Humix, do they show up on my website without going through the embed process? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, definitely. So the answer is yes. So that share button you're talking about, if you turn that on, that means that those Humix videos you have can be shared with other publishers on their site, right? That makes sense. But if you turn it off, that still means they will show up on your site. That toggle has nothing to do with the video showing up on your site and operating on your own site. So turn the share button on, Those videos go to other sites, turn it off. They'll still show up on your own site.
Okay. Even with no embeds, like when you set up embeds manually, you can do it via the Ezoic Chrome extension, which is how I prefer to do it. It seems a lot easier than using all the backend stuff. I love the Chrome extension. It's so good.
Yeah.
But without creating those embeds, does it still show up on my site?
Yeah. So actually with that, I think you need to embed that. And here in the notes, it says that I was told that you can do that through the Chrome extension, through Ezoic, or you can do that through Humix dashboard, like the Humix platform itself. So you do need to embed them for to show up on your site if that share toggle is turned off. Yeah. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, it does. I just want to, that's what I thought. I just wanted to get clear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one more question in this category, and I'm actually going to answer it myself because I emailed somebody from the support team several days ago because it was like an emergency. I really wanted to get it fixed.
Yeah.
It turns out that even with none of those embeds per se, like I'm not going to manually embed my video, I did turn on the share button to show other people's content on my site, other people's Humix videos from the display network. And as it turns out, it shared other people's stuff. I can see those videos. It also shared my own content to my own site, even though I hadn't specifically embedded it. And I reached out and I was like, guys, what's going on? Like, I really want to fix this. I have to know. And they said, well, yeah, it's because your videos are on the shared network.
Yeah,
and it was putting those on my site. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And those may be more money. It's too early to tell exactly, but from the get-go, it's looking like that's more money.
Great.
Okay. So let's actually move on, Anthony, for a few SEO related questions.
Sure.
So this is a very specific one. When you create Humix videos, it automatically creates a channel page, yourdomain.com/Humix or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Is there any way I can not index that in Google?
Right. Great question. So here is how that works. So your dedicated video pages, that Humix link you said, like yourwebsite.com/Humix, that will not show up in unified search results. If you want it to, you can. And I think you'd have to like talk to your PSM to do that, like from our end. So it's not like by default indexed. You can if you'd like, but it is not being indexed until you want it to.
Excellent. That is good news for me because that's what I wanted. Thank you.
Right. Perfect.
That's interesting. All right. Next up, YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I have YouTube videos.
Love your channel. It's great, man. I was watching earlier.
Thank you. Hey, man, I just hit 10,000 subscribers.
Let's go. That's great. Nice.
My overall question is, if I put the same videos on Humix, and there's actually a few ways to do that, you could upload it straight there, or you could actually import it from YouTube, which is what I did because I'm a little lazy. Do those videos conflict with YouTube? And one more piece of context. I am specifically, just me selfishly, I'm looking at this from a Google search perspective. My niche just happens to show a lot of YouTube in search results. And so not the majority of my views, but a lot of my YouTube views actually come from Google searches, not YouTube searches, but Google searches. And so my question is, are Humix videos going to compete with that?
Great question. Yeah. So when Google is looking at these things, YouTube videos and Humix videos, they're seeing two different things. They're seeing two different audiences in different places that each consume content differently. And if you're killing it on YouTube, which looks like you are, and that's awesome, Pete, then Ezoic, it's like, great, that's awesome. Keep it up. That's great. We don't want to impede that, or like we didn't create Humix to affect that in any way. So anyone watching this, you included YouTube. If it's working for you, then keep going. That's great. But what Google sees is not this conflict where they're like going to show one or the other. It's different audiences, different places, each interacting with content differently. And our Humix team here told me that you can grow your audience over time and you can actually carry it back and forth from each platform. If you're blown on YouTube, you want them to go to your site, then you can do that, and vice versa. If you're like, hey, like here's all my videos on my site, go to YouTube. That's awesome. You can gradually get more people to convert to your website when viewing these search results with videos. So Google is not seeing a conflict there. You can choose to do one or the other or both. And Google sees that there are two different things in two different places. They're not going to, cannibalize each other and make it worse on one or either platform. Make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. I'm actually going to skip ahead. I'm going out of order from my notes here.
Cool.
Because I feel like this is related. part of what I wanted to do at first was simply repurpose my YouTube content. Like
Right.
literally the same title, the same description, it's the same exact video, same content, et cetera, et cetera. And that's working okay, I feel like. But I knew right from the beginning that that's probably not the best type of content. The videos I already had, they were really long in a lot of cases. They were really, really specific and niche in a lot of cases.
Right.
So my question for you is, what type of content do you think would work best on Humix? And again, I'm for money, right? Like
yeah,
the
totally.
revenues, that's what I'm for.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I phrase things mentally myself anyways too. Yeah, it's like, will this actually work with money, make revenue for sure? Yeah. So I have a ton of notes here from my Humix team, but I can boil it down to this. What we found so far, and again, Humix launched a few months ago, like officially soft launch a while ago. So we're like still like gathering a lot of data, and there's been rapid increase each month. So we're, it's not too early to tell. We're like seeing some trends already. So what we're seeing is typically we find that videos from 5 to 8 minutes long perform best. But a caveat there is a relevant video is going to perform better anyways. I don't know if anyone here is like watching is like a basketball fan. It's all like data and metrics now, and it's like dunks and 3-point shots are like the two most like just efficient basketball shots ever, right? But one coach is like, yes, but also the wide open shot is the best one ever anyways. Metrics won't beat that. And I kind of thought this is the same thing here. Like length matters, but really if it's a relevant video, if you have stuff in your YouTube channel, if you made stuff in the past, if it's relevant, that's just going to perform well anyways. So if you're making new stuff from scratch, if you are trying to create new stuff for the future, 5 to 8 minute long videos typically have performed the best. But if you do have a backlog of YouTube videos or stuff you made just laying around in your hard drive that are hyper relevant to what you're talking about, those will also perform really well because that's just how it works. People want to watch that content. That makes sense?
I think so. And just to be clear, when you say relevant, you're talking about a video relevant to a specific page or a website or whole or both?
I think both. When you toggle on the Humix videos and these videos show up in ads, whatnot, they're going to be automatically connected with the content on other pages, on your page. Humix AI does, or Ezoic's AI does that. And so you can help optimize that by including different SEO descriptions in those videos so that they can kind of be paired as best as possible. So wherever that video shows on, if it's pages, if it's websites, if it's in-stream videos, whatever, the more relevant it is to that topic, that niche, that point, the better. Make sense?
Okay. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to give specific examples from my own site, but I would give away a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to. That'll be in video 3.
Excellent.
I got some ideas. Okay, nice. Let's go back to SEO. This is the last one I have here.
Sure.
There's not a whole lot of hard and fast data, and I hate to keep bringing up YouTube. I don't know if Humix actually considered as a competitor. I don't, but YouTube, there's no hard and fast data that says YouTube videos will absolutely help your website SEO. Now, we can talk about time on page and some different stuff like that. I actually personally think it probably does. My question is, does Humix affect my website SEO? And if so, how? And for the sake of this argument, let's leave out time on page, because I agree. I think time on page is incredibly important, and I think serving helpful content, no matter the medium, whether it's audio or video or anything, is helpful. But is there anything else that we need to know in terms of website SEO, blog traffic, and Humix videos?
Great question. Yeah. So I'll try and be pretty brief here because there's a lot that the team sent me over, and I'll try and just be as succinct as possible. There's a couple of tech things and some more like general SEO things to consider. First of all, it essentially only helps your SEO. Humix videos, it essentially only helps your website. All the videos are optimized for speed, so they shouldn't have any issues affecting your core web vitals. Your page will still load just as fast. Like you said, videos are proven to keep people on site on the pages longer. Like obviously the time on page is very important. And Google sees that. It's like, hey, they're spending more time on the page. It must be something good. Now for some quick tech stuff. Humix automates the JSON plus LD schema, which frankly I had to look up myself. It's just a way to understand the schema and Google search results and how they interact. But it automates that, and that helps that connection more to have more Google rich results when people are searching queries, and like that helps with that. Again, I don't want to go in too deep into the weeds there,
Yeah.
All the notes here will be below, and I'll even include some links that I saw. So for anyone watching this that wants to know more about that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And one more bigger picture thing here. The dedicated video pages that Ezoic provides with Humix rank highly in search results alongside YouTube. And that directs traffic to your site, allowing you to keep users in your own ecosystem instead of Google stuff like YouTube. And there's so many ways people can just kind of bounce from your videos to other stuff on places like Google and YouTube, where Humix gets them to your site directly.
Mm.
From a more SEO perspective, we have seen data that there is a lower bounce rate when using the YouTube Replace feature, which replaces embedded YouTube iframes on your site with videos from your library that are also uploaded to YouTube. That was a big mouthful there. Again, there's more notes below if you can see that, but essentially we're seeing lower bounce rates from the YouTube Replace videos. People aren't leaving your site to go to YouTube to watch more videos, where it's not even guaranteed they'll even watch more of your stuff. But Humix, we're seeing a lower bounce rate and more staying power when it comes to your content on your site. That was a lot. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, does that kind of answer the question there? How it affects your website SEO?
Yeah, and I said I wasn't going to ramble a whole lot on this episode, but I will rant for just a second. I could totally see that, mostly because YouTube, even embedded YouTube videos, they do a really great job at getting people over to YouTube. As soon as a video is done, it's like showing the next couple of videos, and it's getting you off of that page onto YouTube,
Right.
which some people like. And so I wanted to, sorry, Anthony. Sorry, Ezoic. I did want to push back a second and tell everybody listening to this, you need and want to test this for yourself. Everything. Like, you talk about bounce rate, and you might be right. But I'm like, okay, that's something I really want to look at and test myself. That should go without saying, but
I love that. Yeah. And honestly, anything I'm saying, try it all out. And if another way works better, then do that. And that just means Ezoic has to be better to make our results better. But whatever works for you and your site, if YouTube's working better, again, it's like, do that. We're always working with these tools with our publishers to learn how we can actually make it objectively better. So if you're seeing lower bounce rates on YouTube, then great, do that. That just means that our team has to make this better so that this actually is the correct option for your site, because the correct option is the one that's best for you and your site. And if Ezoic can be better, then we're going to do that. But whatever works for you, test it out yourself and see. And that's just going to kind of be on us to make sure that it is the right option for you.
Totally. I will also plug the third video in this series, which will, I'm not sure when it'll be live, about a month after we're talking right now, where I will share some of the results that I've seen, but just a preview of that so far. And I've been using Humix for, maybe a couple of weeks now. I've seen absolutely no effect on YouTube stuff. Like, it hasn't affected YouTube at all. Even the exact videos that I transferred over, no, it's fine. They're still getting views on YouTube. They got views on the display network for Humix and on my own site, and so on and so forth. So that's actually the last of my initial questions. I have one more that I want to surprise you with.
Boom. All right.
I didn't tell anything of this at all.
Do my best.
So there are probably a lot of things that you can't say that is coming up in the future of Humix, but is there anything you can tell us about the pipeline over the next 3 months, 6 months, a year of where Humix is going? Like you said, it is still very new and it's fully functional, by the way. Like, I don't know if there were bugs when you guys first launched or not, but I haven't experienced any. Like, it's been fine. But is there anything else that you can tease or share of like where it's going, if there is anything?
Yeah, definitely. I want to share as much as possible. I think there are two major things I can think about. First of all, from an Ezoic perspective, if more publishers use Humix and use it well, we get more money. It works for us. So we are very incentivized to make this work. And like I said, if anyone watches this is having more success on YouTube, on Vimeo, whatever, then number one, that's great. Keep doing that. And number two, Ezoic wants to and needs to work harder to make it the correct option because it works for us. So we're really motivated to make this work. So whatever issues we're having and things aren't working, if there's bugs, if it's like a bad UI, whatever, we're going to be constantly fixing that. And we're gathering a lot of feedback in blog posts, social media, surveys, questionnaires, emails, whatever, to see how it could change. So we are constantly tweaking it, changing it so that it's going to be as best as possible, because if it doesn't work, if the UI is bad, if whatever, then we're going to change it to make it better because we're highly incentivized to do so. Next, one thing that we have been talking a lot recently in the bigger picture of like how Ezoic tools fit together is this kind of quadruple dip formula. We've written lots of blog posts about it. We're kind of like trying to measure it out more. And essentially, we're talking about publishers' content getting indexed into 4 different search engines from one text-based article. So you write an article on your site, it's text-based, it's great. That's being indexed by Google search. Obviously, it takes a long time, might be weeks, months, whatever. Not going to see a big spike of traffic at first. That's fine. The second search engine is going to be using our tool Flickify, which is our article video converter, to turn that article into a video, which is then indexed by the world's second biggest search engine, Google Images and Search. Or sorry, Google Images and Video. Google Search and Google Images and Video, 2 separate search engines. One of them shows up text-based results, the other shows up videos and images. So that's 2 search engines. The third one is we're going to put that video onto Humix, which you're talking about. And the fourth search engine is YouTube. Now, to kind of tease this up ahead, Humix doesn't have the functionality at the time of this recording to put Flickify videos onto YouTube. There's like some user agreements, and it's like going to be, I think, behind a paid subscription. But that's going to be coming up in the future where a publisher can use all of these tools in conjunction. Humix, Flickify, YouTube, Google, whatever, to have one text-based article transferred to 4 different search engines to have as much traffic coming in as possible. So I think that we're trying to make Humix and Flickify play even better together to make sure that we're getting so much traffic across the board using everything in conjunction. So I guess I can say Humix is going to be part of a larger whole of different sites and different tools, and even using like our tools like Niche IQ, like our SEO toolkit, to make sure these videos are optimized even more. So I think we're really trying to connect everything together to not have just Humix, but have that as a part of a bigger content strategy to get traffic from multiple search engines, multiple ways over and over, which again helps our revenue and helps our team meet our goals. So that was a lot. Again, does that make sense? Was that kind of answering
It
your
does.
question?
And I will add on, I'm extremely motivated to get more people on Humix, so my videos will show up on y'all's sites.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, show up, man. And like, I want my videos spread more. I lied. I have one more question for you. And again,
great.
I'm surprising Anthony with this stuff. If you don't know, just say you don't know. Is there any way to get videos on Humix and specifically shared with the display network part of Humix without actually having Ezoic on your site? You know what I mean?
That is a good question. Actually, I want to say yes. I don't think you need to be a specific Ezoic publisher to use Humix. I think there are like lots of features you won't be able to use without being a publisher. But I do think there's functionality. I could double check and maybe like send you the notes below. Maybe anyone watching, the answer will be there. But I do think there are ways to use Humix and earn some kinds of revenue without being a publisher yet. But there's so much more you can get as an Ezoic publisher.
Okay. The only reason
I will double check and let you know.
Yes, please do. I have a couple of different brands, and I'm like, actually, I would just like to repurpose the video content I already have for these other brands, and they don't have ads on the site. Like, oh, I wonder if I can do that. I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, thank you for taking the time out of your day to answer some questions. It's been helpful.
Hope I stumbled my way through. I'm like not the most tech jargony guy. I was trying to repackage everything. I heard all of our tech people into a more easily digestible package.
No, I trust Anthony 100%. You're a very well-spoken and on-the-fly type of communicator, I guess. It's always been your skill. Anyways, thank you for coming on. I just float Anthony's boat there. Thank you for coming on, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Pete.